In the golden age of the Ankhara Empire, 1,000 tributary kingdoms stretched across its vast dominion, bound by the will of the pharaoh and the might of the sacred river Thalmir. Among them was the fertile kingdom of Khemar, a land of palm-shaded oases and sprawling fields of barley. Ruled by twin Nomarchs, Khemar served as both breadbasket and vassal to Ankhara, its wealth flowing upriver to sustain the grandeur of the empire. The twin Nomarchs, Amnek and Haren, had long governed in uneasy partnership. Amnek, a man of humble spirit, saw his role as a sacred duty to the people of Khemar. Haren, ambitious and calculating, believed their primary loyalty lay with the pharaoh, to whom they owed their lands and titles. Their differences simmered for years but boiled over during a season of great blight, when the river's annual floods failed and famine loomed. The granaries of Khemar held enough grain to sustain the people through the crisis, but the empire's tribute demanded half of their stores. Amnek pleaded with his brother to negotiate a lesser tribute. "If we yield what is required, our people will starve. The empire has wealth to spare, but Khemar does not." Haren scoffed. "You think the pharaoh's favor so easily swayed? Refuse the tribute, and imperial soldiers will raise Khemar to dust. The needs of the many must outweigh the few." Unable to resolve their dispute, the brothers climbed the sandstone cliffs to Astraea's shrine. The goddess of justice, long revered in Khemar, was said to weigh the hearts of rulers against the divine balance of fairness. Before her carved likeness, bathed in the first light of dawn, Amnek and Haren knelt and called upon her judgment. Astraea appeared in a radiant form, her robes shimmering like liquid gold and her scales gleaming in the sunlight. Her gaze swept over the twins, and they bowed low. "Nomarchs of Khemar," she said, her voice like the ringing of silver bells, "you seek justice, but justice demands truth. Speak, and let your hearts be weighed." Amnek stepped forward, placing his crook before the goddess. "Great Astraea, the people's cries fill the air. If we send the grain to Ankhara, they will die before the next harvest. I ask for mercy on their behalf." Haren stepped forward next, offering a golden amulet, shaped like a scorpion. "Astraea, the Empire's wrath is swift and unforgiving. If we defy the tribute, Khemar will perish. I ask for wisdom to preserve our kingdom." Astraea raised her hands, and her scales floated into the air, glowing faintly. "Place your symbols upon my scales, and let them reveal the truth of your hearts." Amnek's crook rested upon one pan, tilting the scales gently toward him, the light warm and steady. Haren's scorpion balanced the other pan, but its light flickered uneasily. Astraea's gaze hardened as she gestured, conjuring a vision. The shrine walls shimmered with images of two possible futures. In the first, Amnek's mercy prevailed, and Khemar weathered the famine as its people shared the burden. The Empire, impressed by Khemar's resilience and the plea for clemency, rewarded their loyalty. In the second, Haren's path of strict tribute led to rebellion and ruin, with the imperial army crushing the starving people in retribution for their unrest. "The truth is clear," Astraea said. "Haren, your ambition blinds you. Strength without compassion sows ruin. Amnek, your heart is true, but mercy must be tempered with wisdom. Together, you must act as one to guide Khemar through this trial." Astraea decreed that Khemar's grain would be rationed carefully, with enough sent to Ankhara to show loyalty while ensuring the survival of its people. She turned to Haren. "You will uphold this decree, betray it, and you betray Khemar itself." The goddess vanished, and the brothers descended the cliffs. Yet, as the day wore on, fear and resentment consumed Haren. He imagined himself stripped of his titles, his ambitions undone. Driven by his doubts, he resolved to warn the imperial governor, exposing Amnek's plan and securing favor for himself. As Haren set out across the sands toward the imperial outpost, the wind stirred, carrying whispers like the chiming of distant bells. Astraea appeared before him, her form ablaze with divine wrath. "Haren," she said, her voice a tempest, "you have chosen betrayal." Haren fell to his knees, trembling. "Goddess, I feared for Khemar's future. Forgive me. I sought only to preserve our kingdom." Astraea's eyes burned with unyielding light. "Justice is unyielding, and so is truth. You speak of duty, but your heart beats with the cadence of ambition. You do not fear for Khemar. You fear for your own place within it." She raised a hand, and Haren's shadow stretched across the sands, growing darker and darker until it consumed him. When the shadow faded, nothing remained but the faint imprint of his figure in the sand, a reminder of Astraea's judgment. Amnek, learning of his brother's betrayal, mourned, but resolved to honor Astraea's decree. Under his careful rule, Khemar endured the famine, its people united by shared sacrifice. The imperial tribute was paid, and the empire acknowledged Khemar's loyalty with clemency, as Astraea's vision had foretold. The story of the twin Nomarchs became legend in Khemar, a parable of duty and justice. Astraea's shrine on the cliffs became a place of pilgrimage, its shadow forever marked by the outline of Haren's betrayal, a warning to all who would let fear or ambition blind them to fairness.